So now let's start with ether channel. So initially, basically, if I talk about the spanning tree, right? So we do have some issues. So guys, any idea in spanning tree what issues we have till this point? Like what issues we are facing in the spanning tree? If I'll connect a switch to another one with a higher link to increase the throughput, and we have n numbers of user here, we have n numbers of user here, they want to do communication, right? And on the behalf of those things, I have connected the higher links here. But what the spanning tree will do, the spanning tree will basically put two links in the blocking state and one link will be active, right? So these issues we face in the spanning tree. So we have connected higher ports, multiple ports to increase the throughput, right? But the spanning tree will make them in the blocking state, right? So this is a big issue we have in the spanning tree, right? And we can resolve this issue using the ether channel concept. Okay. So I hope the spanning tree issue is clear, right? And what we are going to achieve in ether channel, that is also clear, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. Now the next thing we have to discuss is so sometimes ether channel is called as port channel, sometimes nick teaming, okay, port bundling, with a different name we can call. Okay, now so basically what we are trying to do here, we are trying to make multiple links up between two switches, right? So whenever we have two switches connected to each other, and if multiple links are active, so what the standard says, you will be having a loop. If something happens, some broadcast happens here, that will be sent out here, that will be sent out here again, that will be sent out here, so we'll be having a broadcast here, or we can say a loop will be having, right? So now we have to discuss how this ether channel will bring all the link up, and how this ether channel will prevent the broadcast, or we can say the loop also, right? Because we have to prevent that also. So ether channel will make like all the links up, right? And this will prevent the loop also. How, that we'll discuss. Now if we want to get the solution, right, if we want to know like how this ether channel will be like breaking the loop, right, and will be like using all of these link as an active link, right? Now the question here is for you guys, how a switch will get to know there is a loop, and what parameter we consider there is a loop? Ashish, Ash.
So broadcast prompt and this MAC flapping also.
MAC flapping. Okay, MAC flapping, it means like the MAC address table flapping, right? It means the device will be starting learning the MAC addresses on the interfaces, right? Now,
Right.
what happens in the background in normal cases? So if a switch will start learning the MAC address on multiple interfaces, we will be having a loop, right? Cool. Again, the same thing. We have switch, we have another switch, and we have multiple links active in between these two switches, right? So definitely there will be a loop, right? So we think about this, if we have the multiple links active at the same time, right? So they will try to send the packet out here, and why this switch will not like create the CAM table, right? So what happens in the background, whenever ether channel works, that bind all the physical links into a single ether channel. Okay, now what will happen here? It will bind all of these links into a single ether channel. So now let's take that is taking a new interface number, that is interface PO1. About the configuration we'll discuss, don't worry. We have to stick on the theory right now. Okay, this will also say I do have interface PO1, and this interface PO1 is having multiple interfaces. Let's assume 0 by 0, 0 by 1, 0 by 2. This also is having multiple interfaces, 0 by 0, 0 by 1, and 0 by 2, right? So right now what is happening here? In the background, this interface is having the access of these three interfaces. Same here, this interface is having access of these three interfaces. It means in the front of me, what I will see PO1. And what PO1 means? These three interfaces. Now, in normal cases, in normal network of switches, they learn the MAC address on the physical interfaces. But when we use ether channel, the devices will stop learning the MAC address on physical and will start learning the packets on logical interfaces. Now, what is happening here? In this condition, once we use ether channel, right? So that will start learning the MAC addresses on the logical one, on the PO. It means now the diagram will be look like a switch, another switch. We do have three interfaces, right? We have bind with a single ether channel. Now that will be like this, and this is your PO1, and this is your PO1. Now what happens in the background? And as we know, in the normal cases also, whenever we send the packet out, right, or whenever I will be receiving the packet on an interface, I will not send the packet on the same interface again, right? If I take the previous diagram, these diagrams, let's suppose we are getting a broadcast packet here. So this switch will send the packet out over the another links, but not on the same link again, right? Correct? So same happens here. Now let's assume we have a user here, right? We have another user here. Now that is trying to do the communication, and that is sending, let's suppose, a broadcast packet. So what happens here? The PO1 will be receiving the packet, and the PO1 will choose a single interface. Let's assume that is taking this interface to send the packet out, and on the behalf of which parameter it will check these things, that we have to discuss. Okay, so that we'll discuss in future. Okay, once we do the other things also. Okay, so it will be sending, let's assume that is choosing the first link, so that will be sending the packet out here, will be sent out here. Now the PO1 is receiving the packet, not these interfaces. So once this interface will receive the packet, this will send the packet out to PO1, and now the PO1 will receive the packet, and the MAC address table will be like PO1 MAC address A, like this. Okay, and whenever a PO receives a broadcast packet, it never send the packet to other members of same port channel, or we can say ether channel. So right now, how many members are we having here? We are having two other members in the same PO, right? So whenever this PO will receive the packet, it will never send the packet out to other members. Okay, reason being, this switch is getting a packet on PO1. So this switch will never send the same packet again back to PO1. It can send to other PO, but not to the same one. And this is how we prevent the loop and we use the other links as active links. Okay. So I hope the concept is clear. What is happening in the background, right? So using port channel, this ether channel concept, right? All the links will be active and we will not be having a loop here, right? So guys, just tell me this part is clear to all of you.
Neeraj, you mean to say that the ports in the port channel, all the ports in the port channel are active?
Yes, all the ports will be active, right?
Okay. So like irrespective of from where the packet is coming, so whatever the port physical interface is available, it will send the packet.
Yes. So basically what happens in the background, again, the same thing. This user will send the packet out here. That's the broadcast one. This will see, okay, I'm having a PO. Now in the PO that has 3 interfaces. So, but this PO will choose one of them. And on the behalf of that we will discuss in future. Okay, that is a part of load balancing. Okay. Now, let's assume that is choosing this interface, the first interface to send the packet out. So this will send the packet out here. This will send the packet out here. And finally, the PO will receive, not the physical interface. And the MAC address table will be like this one, not with the physical interfaces. Okay.
Okay, so if if the second packet comes, it may send it from the second interface also. Maybe. In the port channel.
Maybe again that thing we can discuss in the load balancing. How this switch will make the decision which interface I have to take to send the packet out. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. But yes, we till this point we should know, we should be clear with how we are preventing the loop. Again, the main reason here we have, now this switch is not learning the packets on physical, that is learning on the logical, and logical is a part of other physical interfaces. Okay, and will never send the same packet back to the members of the same PO. So this is how ether channel prevents a loop and will make the multiple links up within the switch. Okay. So all clear till this point?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes, sir. Now this basically ether channel is having some parameter before bundling the interfaces. Okay, so we do have some parameters before bundling the interfaces. What are those parameters? The first, speed should be same on all the interfaces. If let's suppose a single interface is having other speed, let's suppose we have 5 interfaces and 2 of them is having 10 MB and 3 is having 100 MB, right? So those 2 ports will be out from the port channel, right? The port channel will not be able to bundle those interfaces. Reason being, again, the speed should be same. And we are combining everything, all the links, right? All the 5 links into a single PO. So that PO will check like which capability I have to take. If all the capabilities are same, so that will be easy for the PO. So that's why what the PO says, whenever I'll be start bundling the links, right? All the parameters, all the properties should be same of all the links so that I can easily inherit everything and can start working, right? The second thing, allowed VLANs. Allowed VLAN should be same. Okay. The third, if those are access or if those are trunk, so all should be trunk. All should be access or trunk. So we cannot bundle like one we have access, one we have trunk, right? So like this we cannot bundle. Okay, all ports should be access or that should be trunk only. Okay, then we can bundle. Duplex should be same, like a half duplex, full duplex. If the links are having half, so all the links should be have half, right? If one of them is configured as full, so all of them should be as full. Ethernet standard. Ethernet standard, it means like, let's suppose we are bundling Ethernet, fast Ethernet and gig Ethernet. So that is not possible. That can be Ethernet, all the interface can be Ethernet, or all the interface can be fast Ethernet, or that can be gig Ethernet also. It means these Ethernet standard should be same for all the interfaces. Okay. And yeah, so these things should be same, these parameters should be same on all the switches, then only like they can start working. Okay, and these parameters should be same on local switch. The far end doesn't matter, right? If let's suppose, I'll take example. Two links here we have, two links here we have. In the first case, this supports 10 MB, this supports 10 MB, this supports 100 MB, and this supports 100 MB, and we are trying to bundle, In the second case, this is having 10 MB, this is having 10 MB, this is having 100 MB, and this is having 100 MB. So this is, we are trying to combine, this we are trying to combine. So in the second case, that will say, no, I cannot bundle in this condition. Reason being, one interface is having 10 MB, one interface is having 100 MB. So that is not possible. But here it will say, yes, both are having the same parameter, so I can bundle. Both are having the same parameter, I can bundle. So in this case, we can do the configuration, the interface will be up, but not in the second condition. So now this part is clear to all of you, like where these parameters should be same, right? So now let's go to the next step.
Yes, I have one doubt. Like suppose if I have one side as a manual and other side as an auto config with auto negotiation, will that form a Ether channel?
Okay. Let's suppose we have multiple links. Now in the conditions. Bala, your conditions.
Yes, one side as a manual negotiation and the other side as an auto negotiation.
Okay, so here we have manual negotiation. Manual negotiation for the trunk, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's assume we are using a static trunk. We are using a static trunk. Okay, we are using .1k encapsulation. We are using .1k encapsulation, right? And these are auto configured. And if they are auto, so they will negotiate these things, right? Now, what happens in the background? Once we try to configure these two into a single Ether channel, that will say static fine, encapsulation fine, so I can bundle. That doesn't matter. Okay, again, the far end doesn't matter. Okay. The
Okay.
parameters should be same on the local switch. Okay.
Okay. Fine. Okay.
If one link is fast Ethernet and the other link is Giga, it will make a Ether channel?
No, that time it will show you error, some standard error. Okay.
Oh,
Because
okay.
we always try to combine the links with the Ether channel with a standard that can be fast or that can be gig, that can be normal Ethernet. Okay.
Okay.
Any doubt till this point?
So speed should be same and this fifth point Ethernet standard should be same.
Right.
Like इसमें difference क्या है sir?
Okay.
Speed and
Difference, let's take, okay. Let's assume we are taking here a gig Ethernet, right? So by default, that will be having the speed of 1 gig, right? Correct. But let's assume manually we have changed this to 100 MB. Okay, 100 MB. Reason being, the neighbor device just support the fast Ethernet. Because of that, we have done these changes. It means if that will be having 100 MB speed, right? So I should have the 100 MB. So using those things, right, we have done the changes. So right now what we have here, the speed is 100 MB on both interfaces, and the standard is gig Ethernet. So these are the difference we have. So if manually we are changing the information, right, changing the speed, right, so that should be same on both interfaces. Okay.
Okay, yeah, got it.
Any other doubt, guys? Now, okay, so till this point, what we have done the basics of Ether channel. Okay, so before starting Ether channel, we should know these things, right? Now we can look for the protocols, what protocols we use in the Ether channel. Okay, so it has auto mechanism and a static way also. Okay, in the auto mechanism, it has two protocols. One is your PHEP, one is your LACP, and in the static one, it has on mode. Okay, it means what we have here, we have here three ways to configure this Ether channel, right? And two are these like auto mechanism, right? It means they are the auto mechanism. They will be having like a dependency on the other interface also, other neighbor also. But in the static one, that will actively say I'm the port channel. Okay, now we'll see. So let's start with PHEP. So this is your port aggregation. Control protocol. Parallelly, I will talk about LACP also. This is your link aggregation. Control protocol. Port aggregation control. Okay, PHEP is your, sorry, this is not control, my mistake. Port aggregation protocol. LACP says link aggregation control protocol, but not PHEP. Okay, next. So this is your Cisco protocol. Okay, and this is your open standard. In PHEP, we have two modes. One is your desirable. The other one we have is auto. Here, again, we have two modes. The one is your active. The other one is your passive. Okay. The desirable mode has two sub mode. Okay. The first we have is silent mode. Okay. The second one we have is non-silent. And this is a default one. By default, that is configured. The silent mode, if we choose desirable, okay. And non-silent we can configure. The concept behind silent, non-silent we'll discuss. Okay. And here we do not have any sub mode. PHEP says you can bundle 8 links, and LACP says you can bundle 16 links, but at that time 8 links will be active and 8 links will be in standby. Okay, it means in both conditions 8 links will be active. And okay, now, so we are saying here 8 links will be active, 8 links will be in a standby, right? So to achieve these things, what we have here, we have two types of election here. One is LSAP, system ID election, and one we have is LSAP, port ID election. Okay, so we'll go one by one. So these are the features we have in PAGP LSAP. Okay, and these are the features of PAGP. Now, so I hope everything is clear till this point, right? We need to discuss about the modes only, right? I think the first line, the second line, and the fourth line is clear, right? We need to talk about the modes. So these modes are very clear. Okay, if you remember the DTP mechanism, there also we had these modes, right? The desirable one and the auto one. So what features we were discussing in these DTP, the desirable says, if I'll be getting a packet, first of all, it will actively initiate, right? So this will actively initiate. Okay, this will say, I'll be waiting. But this also says, if I did not get the packet from the neighbor, I will not be able to form a trunk code, right? In the PAGP, the desirable mode is exactly same we had in the DTP desirable, right? That will actively start for ether channel negotiation. But one condition here we have in this one, what condition we have? The neighbor should be active with desirable or auto, then only I'll be trunk, right? Or that should be static trunk and the negotiation should be enabled. But here it says, I will be waiting for next 15 seconds, and if did not get any PGP packet, I will create port channel. It means this doesn't matter in the front of me, we do have a PGP device or not, that doesn't matter. It will actively initiate, and after 15 seconds, it will form the port channel. And the reason being why this we have, by default desirable supports a silent mode. So this is because of the silent, right? But if we configure non-silent, in that condition, it will always be waiting for negotiation. It means if get PAGP packet from neighbor, then it will create port channel. Okay, so it means in PAGP we have two sub modes. One is silent. The silent is by default. So once we choose desirable, right, the desirable comes with silent, right? And if did not get any packet from the neighbor till 15 seconds, it will create the port channel. But we can also configure non-silent, right? And if we configure non-silent, so at that time, right, the device will always wait for the PG packet, and if did not receive, it will never configure the ether channel. Okay, now what is the use of silent, non-silent? So this ether channel we sometimes we use with servers also. So if we have that, so if with servers, what happens in the background, let's suppose we are having a switch that is connected with a server, right? So in that case, the server will never send any PGP packet. So right now what I want here, I want to make this as port channel, but still I will not be receiving any packet. So in these conditions, we use PAGP desirable silent mode. That's a default one, right? If we are connecting with other switch and we don't want to make this configuration here, let's suppose what I want here, I want to make the negotiation if we are getting the packet from the neighbor. In that condition only, we can enable PAGP desirable non-silent mode. Okay. So I hope these modes of PAGP desirable silent and non-silent both are clear.
And the auto mode says again, if I'll be receiving the packet, then only I will inform Ether channel, otherwise no. So just tell me any doubt till this point. Anyone?
So can you just share the PGP silent and non-silent definition once again?
Yeah, sure. In the silent mode, what happens? The device will try to configure, try to negotiate the Ether channel, but it did not get packet from neighbor, PGP packet. It will form Ether channel after 15 seconds automatically because of silent mode, right? In non-silent, it will always wait for the negotiation. Okay, just like a desirable mode in the DTP. Okay? But in the silent, it will just create, it will be creating the port channel in the background after 15 seconds if it did not get the packet from the neighbor, the PG packet. Okay.
So you're saying that the opposite trend is not configured with PAGP also, it will form the Ether channel, right?
Yes, in the case of silent mode, and that's the default one. Yes.
Neeraj, you were talking about the server, how you're going to connect it with the Ether channel to a server.
Okay, that also supports a feature that is NIC teaming. Okay, so the NIC teaming features we use on the server, right? So that we can bundle multiple links. Okay. We have some
Like
special
how
card.
does it what kind of configuration you make on the switch side?
On the switch side, here I will just do the configuration for the PAGP only. That's it. Okay. On the
Okay.
switch, I'll be just doing the configuration for PAGP. Now the server end will be using the NIC teaming feature, right? So that will be having a separate card to achieve these things. Okay. So we have
Sir, can we create the Ether channel on between router and switch?
router and switch.
Yes.
Yes, we can configure. That's a layer 3 Ether channel then. Okay.
Okay.
And also one more
Can
thing,
you
like
just
in
sorry, Neeraj.
Sorry, Abdul, what you're saying?
Can you just elaborate on the server side what exactly configuration you make?
Okay, no, sir, on server side, I cannot tell you the configuration. Okay. Reason being that is a application based, right? That's a server based configuration. Let's suppose you are using server 2000, 2008, 2010, right? So that is a server based configuration. Okay. So that has a feature of NIC teaming feature. Then we configure those things. Okay.
Okay.
Neeraj not able to listen properly.
Yeah, basically I'm
There are
saying
lot
like
of
on the server,
background devices.
yeah, on the server side, that's a part of the server configuration. So we cannot discuss those things here. And even I don't know about the configuration of server. Okay, that's a part of NIC teaming. Okay. There's a feature of server like you can have server 2000, 2010, 2008. So those servers support these things, and there you can configure these features. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
and also one more thing, like in silent, we wait for like device will wait for 50 seconds for the PHP packet. So it covers the both criteria. If the device is sending the PGP packet, it will also create. If the device is not sending the PGP packet, then also it will create a port
Yes,
channel.
right. Yes.
So what's the advantage of non-silent? Because we are already covering the silent in both criteria.
Okay, in non-silent, okay. Look, let's assume we have a switch, another switch, and here we have configured PAGP silent mode. Now, what issues we can get here in future? Like we have to discuss a configuration that is misconfiguration guard, misconfig guard, right? So what happens here if we configure this configuration? Okay, the PAGP silent mode, and if we forget to configure here, or if we do some delay, or we can say more than 15 seconds delay, right? To configure PO here, what happens in the background? These interfaces will go in error disable state.
Okay. Because what happens in the background? Let's suppose we have these ether channel, right? These are layer 2. So these interface will be a PO, a single interface, and these interfaces will be 3 physical interfaces, right? So here, these interfaces will go in the error disable state due to misconfiguration. Okay. So because of that, we have to configure in these conditions non-silent mode then. Okay. Ash, your question is clear?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Normally, you first configure the port channel and then you add the interfaces on the port channel.
No, we can configure like initially we can start with directly configuring on the physical interfaces. It will automatically create in the background. So if we start from PO first, so that will basically take your time, right? Because if let's suppose I'll directly go to the interfaces and will run the command for the PO, in the background it will automatically create that port channel. Okay.
No, but the configuration, whatever you make on the port channel, it will copy it on the interfaces as well, right?
Right. But I'm saying, look here, what I'm saying here, what is the best way? Go to your physical interfaces. Let's suppose those are 3 interfaces, and then run the command channel group 10 mode or something mode, right? What happens in the background? Now it is created. Interface PO10 is created then. Okay. If you do like create interface PO10 first, and then I'll go to the interfaces, and then I'll like run the command those channel group 10 and this one, right? So why we are wasting time here, right?
Yes. No, what I mean to say is once you configure the port channel first, say port channel 10, and then you say switch port mode trunk and then allowed VLANs 1 to 10 or something like that. And then you group the interfaces on this port channel. The whatever configuration you have made on the port channel, it will replicate on the interface, physical interfaces as well.
Okay, so you're telling or you're explaining these things?
No, I'm getting confused here. Like,
okay,
what is the best practice
again,
you need
look here, Abdul. What we are doing right now, I'm explaining everything one by one, right? And you're talking about something like that we have not covered yet.
Okay.
Okay, that we know. If I'll do some configuration on PO, so that will be like that will reflect all the config to physical interface, definitely. But we have not discussed yet, right?
Sure. Carry on.
Okay, what we were talking about? Okay. So guys, any doubt till this point? Ash, any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay.
No,
So-
I don't have doubt, but I just wanted to confirm one more thing. If we created a port channel on a switch, and switch is connected to any device that is not sending the PGP packets for any like a server, we can say an example. So server server does not create the port channel concept. I'm not sure about the server end.
Okay,
Correct?
again, yeah. So that will be using NIC teaming feature. NIC
Okay,
teaming
that
feature
okay.
for the
I was
server, yeah, and the server will be having a special card to achieve the same task. Okay.
okay. Okay.
Because definitely a server will never support the PGP mechanism, right? So that has other features. So
Yes.
using those, we can do this task. Okay.
Okay.
But that is based on the server configuration.
Okay.
Now, if I talk about LACP, that says the same thing. I do have active mode. I do have passive mode, right? Active is like your desirable, non-silent, and passive is your like auto mode. That's it. No difference here we have. Okay. And this LACP does not support a silent mode. Okay. So guys, just tell me like any doubt till this point.
So we don't use LSCP to configure with any other devices like a server, as it does not support the silent mode.
Okay. So basically, again, the same thing. If we have non-silent, right? So that time we have to make sure that time, or we can say we have to configure static configuration then. Okay.
Because again, the same thing, we have the same concept now. If I'm waiting for the packet and there's a server in the front of me, so I will never receive any packet, right? So in that case, I have to configure here on mode. Okay.
Okay, we will discuss about this further.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. And then finally, what we have, that is on mode. So in the same condition here, right? Let's suppose we have a server in front of me, right? So at that time, what we do, we always try to configure the on mode. That is unconditional port channel. It means without any conditions, once you do the configuration, instantly that will bring the interface up with the PO up, okay, and it will start working. Okay. This part is clear.
Didn't get with this on mode.
Okay, in on mode, this is unconditional port channel. It means we do not have any conditions here. It means this is not depend on the negotiation. If I talk about PAGP, desirable mode, auto mode, if I talk about LSCP, active and passive mode, these features are waiting for the negotiation, right? And these are the conditional one. If I'll be getting the packet, if not, so what happens? But in the on mode, that's a static configuration, like in the trunk mode, right? So switch code mode trunk. So once we run this command, unconditionally that port will be trunk. Same here, once we use on mode in the case of port channel, so unconditionally without checking any condition, those ports will be active with the PO interface. Okay.
Okay, basically it does not care about whether receiving any
Yeah,
packet or not.
never.
Okay.
It will never check the negotiation, nothing. Okay. Now it has other theory features also, right? So, but before that, like, okay, one more thing we have to discuss the LACP also. Okay. In the LACP, I told you, okay, let me come back to LACP theory. So here, I hope this part is clear, open standard, right? The modes are clear. Now this part is pending, the election part, right? Now we will talk about the election, okay? And these elections, LACP election, these are totally based on your spanning tree. We can say it means like we can take idea, right? So if the spanning tree part is clear to all of you, exactly 99% is same here we have. Okay, so let me take two switches. Guys, anyone any doubt till this point before starting LACP election? Abdul, Ashish, Bala.
Yes, Neeraj. Suppose if we set one switch as PAGP and one switch as LACP, will the port go into error disabled state or something?
Okay. Not error disable, but that time they will not be able to form the ether channel. Okay, let's suppose on one end I have configured PAGP silent mode. Okay, silent says I'll be doing the configuration, right? So that time it will form the ether channel. Here we have configured PAGP silent, and here we have configured LACP, right? So this will create the port channel definitely. This will not create any port channel because we don't have any silent mode here. But this says if I'll be creating the port channel and if I did not get the packet from neighbor, or if this is the condition, here we have PO, in the front of me we have physical interfaces. So these ports will go in the error disable state. Okay.
Okay. Okay, got it. Okay.
Kishore, Sudarshan, any doubt till this point? Farooq, any doubt?
Yes, in the same scenario, in this LACP, if we have configured in this on mode, in the PHP, if we have configured desirable non-silent in the sense, it will form right.
Again, we cannot combine the multiple protocols. Okay, if we are using on mode, so we have to use on mode. If we are using LACP, so we have to use LACP. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
We cannot combine these things, never. Now, Abdul, any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay. Now in the LACP election, what we have? Okay, let me create two switches.
So let's take like we have multiple interfaces and 16 interfaces. Okay. And let me put the naming 0 by 0, 0 by 1, 0 by 2, 0 by 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And 0 by 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. These are 15 interfaces, but we can take one more interfaces, no worries. Okay. Now, what happens in this condition? So this will be having a base MAC address. So let's suppose this has base MAC address A, this has base MAC address B. Now we have to verify these things. Which interface will be DP? Which which interface will be active? Which interface will be passive, right? And which switch will take the decision? So first of all, maybe switch A or maybe switch B will take the decision, right? So if switch A will be taking the decision, switch B can't do anything. Switch B have to follow the A rule, right? If switch B will take the decision, switch A has to follow the B rules. Now, the very first election will be doing which switch will take the decision. For that, we have LACP system ID election, and who wins the election? The device with lowest LACP system ID. Now, what is LACP system ID? Just like a spanning tree bridge ID. So LACP system ID is a combination of priority plus base MAC address. So A is having, by default, the priority is 32768. Okay. So 32768 plus A. This has 32768 plus B. Now tell me, which device is having the lowest LACP system ID? A or B?
A.
A, perfect. So this will be the winner. So now switch A is the winner for the system ID, the LACP system ID. Now the switch A has to take the decision which interfaces will be up, which interfaces will be in the passive state. Now switch B can't do anything. So this will do the election for the port ID now. So this has to do, switch A has to do an election for the LACP port ID. Again, this is a part of, this is a combination of two things. One is port priority and port number, just like your port ID in the spanning tree, right? The default port priority is 32768 plus your port number. So it will start from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that. Let's take 1. Okay. So priority is same by default for all the interfaces, right? And then it will start doing like the port ID for this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 until like this 15, right? So this says the lowest port ID. It means first lowest 8 ports will be active. It means this has to take the decision, right? This has to accept the decision. So this will take these interfaces as active. Okay. And these remaining interfaces will be in the passive. So let's suppose if this link goes down, what happens in the background? The 8th link will automatically come up and will be the part of active group. Okay. So this happens in the case of LACP. So any doubt till this point in the election of these things?
Does the selection have any time frame? Like after
Okay,
these minutes,
time frame, no, we don't have any kind of time frame here. Nothing. This will send LACP, this will send LACP, they will take the decision then. Okay.
Suddenly, if I connected the lowest port number in the sense, will it change the election process?
Basically,
Let's say if
they are doing the election, right? Okay, Sudarshan, like they are doing the election. First of all, we have election for the LACP system ID. So A is the winner. Now A will be doing the election for the port ID. So the lowest 8 ports will be the winner, and these ports will be active then. Okay.
Yes, I'm saying that initially I've manually made port 1 as down, and then I've configured the 2 to 8, and then I give the no shit command in the port 1 in the sense.
Okay,
will
okay.
it,
You're saying
do
like
the-
let's suppose right now only these ports are active. Okay, and in future I will add these ports in the ports. And so what will happen, right?
Yes.
Okay, it will automatically take the decision, right? It will check, okay, which one is the lowest one right now. Okay, it will, these ports will be up then. Okay.
because again, whenever I'll be adding a new interfaces, right, that will be sending the packet out here. That will
Sorry,
be
I
sending the
lost you.
packet-
I didn't hear you what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm saying here, whenever we add new interfaces, right, so that will be sending a packet out here, that will be sending a packet out here for the LSCP, and they will check the information, and these new links will be up then, okay,
Okay, okay.
in the PO.
Okay.
Now, so till this point, what we have done the basic information we have done, right, and everything about the LSCP PAGP, right. So now let's move to the practical part, okay, and then after practical, we'll be checking the other mechanism also, the other theory part also, and then we'll do the lab also for those things, okay.
Sir,
Yes,
hello.
yes, Ash.
Yes, I was just asking in the work diagram, as you informed that the ports will be in active and other ports in the passive. So these 8 ports which will be in active, they'll be in a desirable mode, correct?
Desirable, no, this is LSCP. LSCP, it means active and passive mode, right?
But active means the desirable and the non-silent.
Okay, that what I was taking an example. Okay, if we are saying active, if I take the reference, so we can say desirable plus non-silent feature, we can say, okay, but technically we cannot answer. We can just take a
So
reference.
technically, even it will be waiting for the LSCP packets from the other end.
Yes,
Even the
definitely.
active
That's why,
mode.
yeah, that's why we are taking this reference. Yes, definitely. If we have 2 switches, right, and we have configured LSCP active here, so and we have configured, let's suppose now that has to active here, active or passive, any we can configure here, but this interface should be active with the LSCP packets, LSCP modes, okay, then only it will form the PO. Otherwise, let's suppose I have not configured LSCP here, node active, node passive, right, so this will never send any packet, and these interfaces will be just like a normal interfaces, okay.
Okay. So in the above diagram, where we have marked some 8 interfaces as an active. So here 8 means that the up ports will be 8 that will be connected, correct?
Yes.
Like in
both conditions, we have configured LSCP, right? And then only they are doing the
Okay.
election, okay? Because
Okay.
initially,
And the lowest, sorry, please continue.
yeah. So initially, they are checking like the neighbor is enabled or the neighbor is enabled or not. So once they are getting the packet from like each other, then they will start doing these process. If they are not getting any packet from the neighbor, they will never initiate these kinds of things, okay?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
So can we see the interfaces which are active in the LSCP?
Yes, we can see. Once you run the command show interface ether channel, right? So you can see those things.
Shows playing.
Sorry, come again.
It gives message like P beside
Yes.
the port.
Yeah, definitely. I'll show you that. So once we do the practical, right? So at that time, I'll show you like what command we run and what output we verify to make them sure which interface are active and which interface are in passive. Okay. I'll show you. Okay, let's discuss the theory also. No worries. Okay, then we will move to the practical, full-on practical. Okay. Now, in the
Sir, can we make the ether channel? Sir, I have a little doubt. Can we make a ether channel between the 2 different model switch, like 350 or 2990?
Can you tell me one thing? Okay, the first you are saying which model you have? The second one?
Yeah. Can we make a ether channel?
Yeah, other model, right?
3650.
Tell me one thing. Can we connect a physical cable? And that will work or not? Right?
That will work.
That will work.
Yeah.
Same here, what the ether channel is doing. The ether channel is not depend on the neighbor device. That is checking the criteria here. Like those parameters are same or not. If those parameters are same, so I will be sending a PAG packet. That doesn't matter which device is front of me. Okay. What they care about,
fine.
we are getting the packet, PAGP or LSCP or not. That is the main thing. Okay, and the switches never decide these things like if we have this version of command, this version of OS, this version of OS, so we'll stop sending, we'll be sending like that. We don't have those things, right?
Yeah, sure.